Men hovedmålet var 3 ting, og det var at åbne huset ud mod gaden, facaden, så det blev synligt, hvor hovedindgangen var. Det var at tilpasse en gammel cirkuslokale, kulturarvsbeskyttet, til dramatisk teater. Og så var det at få egen café, så vi kunne kontrollere publikumsflowet, som det hedder, så fint. Så vi kunne være ansvarlige også for serveringen inden, under og efter forestillingen.
The theatre is a very thriving theatre, but theatre you also need a really powerful gathering space to go with the auditorium, and that's what the theatre didn't have at all. Curiously, the only way into the theatre was sort of from a side street, away from the main heart of the city, and we had lots of conversations with Kitta and her team about how to connect theatre and the city, but also how to connect the audience with the stage. So 2 sort of ways of making better connection.
You need to build the expectation and the energy of the audience and prepare them for what they're going to see on stage. And that's where the foyer spaces are really important, which is what we've managed to create with our refurbishment and by pulling the foyers through out to the street so that the city flows through the foyer and you keep that energy from the urban life through into the room when you're sitting in your seat looking at the stage.
Altså den færdige foyer har jo løst de grundlæggende problemer med, at lyset var så ubehageligt. At vi nu har en belysning, som gør, at folk ser smukke og varme og glade ud. Derudover, så rent praktisk, skal man jo servere rigtig mange drikkevarer på meget kort tid. Og det kunne vi ikke, så det fik vi mange klager på. Og nu har vi serveret 400 mennesker på 10 minutter. Så logistikken i den her foyer, den er mageløs god. Og det viser sig i en meget tilfredse publikummer, men også i en helt anden forsælgning. Og det er arkitekturen, det er ombygningen, som gør det, som løser det for os.
So the cafe used to be a wig shop, and it was never part of the theatre. So what we've done is we've taken this as a new space for the theatre, and because of its location on the street and the huge kind of shop window, it felt a natural place to be a point of welcome and arrival, and we want to get people coming into the building all day, so a cafe is a very welcoming way to do that, and also turning it into an entrance for both staff and public. And a lot of the architecture was here for us. We've got the double height space with this fantastic mezzanine, and we've just made some strategic openings to join the front space through with the back space and create views both of the bar counter and the staircase, which brings you upstairs to the smaller rooms.
Det bedste ved caféen, det er, at vi nu virkelig kan være et hus, som er åbent mod gaden, mod Malmøboerne, fra klokken 9 om morgenen til klokken 7 om aftenen. Så vi er simpelthen ikke et lukket hus. Vi er ikke en lukket facade.
The courtyard's quite interesting because it's doing something very simple about connecting the street through to the auditorium, but it's also interesting in that it's quite an ambiguous space because it's sort of almost outside. It's almost like an empty space. The theatre not only do obviously the shows in the evening and so on, but they also do a lot of work with children and the community, and increasingly so. And I think they're really excited about the possibilities of how to use that space all the way through the day as well. Where it is quite interesting because you can either get to it directly or through the auditorium or down from the offices or down to the studio or through from the cafe. So it can kind of be an extension of all of those things.
Indegården er den største overraskelse, for vi tænkte lidt, det var et transportrum, og nu viser det sig, at det er et af de mest attraktive rum i hele ombygningen. Alle vil være der. Alle begynder at få kreative idéer, og det første vi opdagede, det var, Det er fuldstændig fantastisk festlokale. Det er et transportrum, men det er også et rum, som lige nu bare inspirerer til alle mulige ting.
Ateljén, så som vi kommer använda den nu, den ligger ju helt i linje med vår vision om att öppna upp huset. Dels att öppna det ut mot gatan, men också att öppna upp oss som organisation för mer delaktighet från Malmöborna. Och vi ser ju en jättestor möjlighet där nere i med synligheten från gatan att kunna lägga aktiviteter där som är lite mer lättillgängliga och som inte tvunget är en teaterupplevelse där man ska sitta i ett tyst och mörkt rum, utan det kan vara andra typer av upplevelser interaktivt.
Thinking about the auditorium, a lot of the reworking of the space was trying to acknowledge the history that it used to be a circus and that the auditorium is shaped in a circle format, which is a natural kind of gathering. You know, you think of people in a square, they sit in a circle, people around a table sit in a circle. So we had this natural form given to us by the building, by the original design as the circus. But the previous auditorium didn't acknowledge that, and it was very straight and fixed and angular, and the geometries didn't work with that auditorium.
So we sort of took that rather sort of flat end-on shape and just sort of cranked it around, so it's more of an embrace. The magic target with all auditorium is to try and get as many people into a smaller space as possible, because that's where the sort of emotional electric energy works between the actor and the audience, and the closer you can be to the actor, the more subtle they can be and the more direct they can be.
Det är en väldigt intim relation till publiken. Man har dem liksom, i och med att salongen är böjd då, så har man dem, man är liksom omsluten av publik. Man kan liksom gå fram och knyta banden och etablera kontakter med publiken, och sen så sticker man bak och kan göra det mer visuella.
Hela känslan i salongen är att man sitter lite tätare med varandra. Det är mer en gemensam upplevelse. Och där får vi mycket fin feedback från publiken redan nu kring att det är en gemensam upplevelse just. Jag tror att man som publik inte tänker så mycket på akustiken, men det är en stor faktor i att känna sig involverad i det som händer på scenen, att man faktiskt hör bra. Och där har det ju gjort en jättestor förbättring av hela akustiksituationen i salongen och scenen.
Hipp har länge varit en gömd skatt i Malmös publika rum. Och genom den här ombyggnaden så har vi öppnat upp publika ytor mot gatan. Nytt café, ny restaurang, ny workshop för barn som välkomnar in Malmö stads befolkning och möjliggör spontana möten.
An expression we like to use is the building being a good host. And it's, I guess our role as architects is understanding the building. We started to feel, you know, where the building was constraining the organization. And so then our job was to think really carefully about where do we make the biggest impact, but in quite subtle ways, so that we keep, you know, the feel of this historic theatre for Malmö. Yeah, the building being a host, it wants to sort of go so far to create that atmosphere for a theatre, but then let the public and the performers and the technicians then be able to do what they like with it, and then our role is to sort of gradually step back again and enjoy seeing how it's used in so many different ways.
Make the stage more malleable, more adaptable to suit different types of performance.
Så vi kan rigtig, rigtig meget, som vi har drømt om at kunne, og som vi tænkte, det kommer vi aldrig til at kunne få mulighed for at tilbyde moderne teater i sin helhed. Pædagogisk arbejde, værksted, paketering, værtskab, god mad og drikke. Er det lige så lækkert inden, som det er inde i forestillingen? At vi får lov til at være ordentlige værter. Det kan vi nu.